After being killed by a demon, a knight is reincarnated as an S-rank monster, the Behemoth, a creature so dangerous that it takes an entire army to defeat. However, he isn't thrilled about this new life, as he was once sworn to protect humanity. As he examines his reflection, he's shocked to find that he looks like a cat. Meanwhile, an elf girl named Arya is preparing to venture into a dungeon. As the cat looks around, he notices a slime approaching. With a single skill, he easily defeats it. However, he suddenly feels hungry, so he decides to eat the slime. To his surprise, the slime is actually very delicious. Just then, a screen appears in front of him, revealing that he has gained the slime skill called storage. He thinks the skill is very useful and stores the rest of the slime in it. Knowing that he can steal the skills of the monsters he consumes, he gets an idea. He then goes around and starts hunting and eating monsters to grow stronger. After some time, he encounters a treasure chest containing a shiny gem. However, the chest is a trap that teleports him onto the back of an S-rank monster, the Earth Dragon. He tries attacking the dragon using his skills, but its skin is too tough. When the dragon retaliates, he uses his iron body skill to block the attack, but he still takes damage. Impressed by his survival, the dragon lowers its guard as it tries to eat him. Taking advantage of the opportunity, he strikes the dragon's eye and manages to escape. Too bad for him, the damage he took from the dragon was too severe. As he lay down, thinking he was going to die, Arya saw him and decided to take him back to her home to treat his wounds. Several days have passed, and he is fully recovered. Since Arya saved his life, he vows to protect her for as long as he lives. When Arya heads back to the dungeon to complete another quest, he decides to secretly follow her, hoping nothing bad happens to her. While in the dungeon, she encounters 3 goblins. Unfazed, she activates her acceleration skill, moving at incredible speed and quickly dispatching all of them. This impresses the cat. Suddenly, another goblin appears and surprises her with a fireball. Luckily, the cat rushes in and pushes her out of the way. Not wanting to reveal his true identity, he avoids using his skills and instead scratches the goblin's face, sending it tumbling down the stairs. Arya is surprised to see the cat and is grateful for the rescue. Later, at the Adventurers Guild, Arya is approached by a man named Kazman. He asks if she has changed her mind about joining his party. As he tries to touch her, the cat leaps up, biting his hand and scratching his face in retaliation. Kazman, enraged, draws his sword, but he is quickly stopped by the guild receptionist, who reminds him that brandishing a weapon on guild grounds is strictly forbidden. Scared, Kazman quickly runs away. The guild receptionist then assures Arya to let him know if Kazman harasses her again. Grateful for the support, Arya happily tells him that the cat has now saved her twice and declares that it will officially be her pet and naming it Tama. After receiving the reward for her quest, Arya buys some alcohol and gets drunk. She then threatens Tama, saying that if he doesn't fix his attitude toward her, she won't let him join her in the bath. Hearing this, Tama immediately starts behaving and obediently listens to everything she says. While bathing, Arya tells Tama about her dream of becoming as strong as the person who once saved her life. She reveals that years ago, her hometown was attacked by demons. Just when all seemed lost, the legendary Sword Saint appeared and defeated all the demons. This event left a lasting impression on Arya, making her admire the Sword Saint and strive to become strong enough to protect others just as she was protected. The next day, Arya and Tama return to the Adventurers Guild to look for a new quest. While there, they encounter Kazman again. This time, he arrives with written orders from a baron, declaring that the cat who injured him previously must be put down. The announcement shocks everyone. Noticing Arya's deep affection for Tama, Kazman smirks and proposes a deal. If she doesn't want Tama to be harmed, they can settle the matter with a duel. If she wins, Tama will go free, but if she loses, she must agree to become his wife. Left with no other option, Arya reluctantly agrees. As the duel is about to begin, Kazman announces to the crowd that there's a significant gap in rank between him and Arya. To avoid tarnishing his reputation as a coward, he declares that Arya can have outside assistance. However, no one dares to step forward to oppose Kazman. Just then, Tama steps in front of Arya, ready to fight. Kazman laughs, mocking the idea that a mere kitten could pose any threat to him. Arya, on the other hand, feels a surge of happiness, touched by Tama's willingness to protect her. When the duel starts, Tama immediately charges at Kazman. but without using magic, Tama's attacks have no effect on him. Meanwhile, Arya uses her acceleration skill to increase her speed, but Kazman reads her every move effortlessly and counters her attacks easily. As Kazman is about to defeat Arya, Tama leaps in, activating his iron body skill to block the attack. The impact shatters Kazman's sword. Tama then uses his howling skill, sending Kazman flying into a nearby tree. The broken sword spins through the air and strikes Kazman, defeating him. The crowd is left in shock as they realize Tama can use magic. Believing his secret is now exposed and fearing they'll recognize him as a monster, Tama prepares for the worst. He doesn't regret his actions at all. Instead, he feels fulfilled knowing he protected his master. However, to his surprise, the crowd cheer instead. They assume Tama is a rare elemental cat and celebrate both his and Arya's victory. The next morning, after waking up, Tama wanted to make Arya happy by licking her ear, hoping she would enjoy it. What he didn't realize was that this made Arya adore him even more, so much so that he began to wonder if he might regret it. Later, Arya took Tama to meet her friend Vulcan, a blacksmith and C-rank adventurer. When Vulcan saw Tama, she was delighted and placed him on her chest. She then asked Arya why she had come. Smiling, Arya explained that she wanted Vulcan to make armor for Tama. Excited by the idea, Vulcan immediately began measuring him. A few days later, the armor was finished, and Arya was thrilled with the result. She then asked Vulcan if she could make her sword lighter, explaining that she just couldn't seem to get the hang of using it. Vulcan, however, said that making it lighter would make the blade too fragile. Instead, she suggested they go to a dungeon together, where she could watch Arya in action and come up with a better solution. In the dungeon, Tama and Arya are both amazed by Vulcan's strength as she effortlessly defeats all the goblins in her path. Shortly after, an orc appears, and Vulcan tells Arya that it's her turn to handle it. Arya uses her usual acceleration skill to fight the orc, but her movements are too predictable. As the monster strikes back, Tama jumps in to block the attack, creating an opening for Arya to finish it off. Despite her victory, Arya feels unsatisfied with the outcome. Vulcan approaches her and tells her that she knows why her moves are so easy to read. She then leads Arya to the next floor to face a group of monsters called Roper. Tama thinks it's a bad idea and imagines Arya getting caught by the creature. Suddenly, Arya charges at the monster as she usually does, but this time it's too fast for her to even get close. As the battle progresses, one of her swords is knocked out of her hand and the other is destroyed. At that moment, Vulcan tosses a pair of knives to Arya. With these new weapons, Arya moves faster than before and easily defeats all the monsters in the area. However, as one of the creatures falls, a strange liquid sprays from its body, splashing all over Arya. This makes Arya furious, and she continues attacking the monster even after it's already dead. Meanwhile, Tama seizes the opportunity to eat the monster in order to gain a new skill, despite the unpleasant taste. Later, Arya reveals that the reason she used longswords because she admired the sword saint. However, she now feels happy to have found a weapon that suits her better. Vulcan then takes Tama and Arya to a bath area inside the dungeon. She assures them that the place is safe because it contains a philosopher's stone, which prevents A-rank or lower monsters from approaching. Arya gazes at the stone and recalls the time the demon attacked her village. While bathing, Arya learns from Vulcan that her previous party broke up because two members fell in love and one of them got pregnant. Vulcan then looks at Arya and warns her to be cautious, explaining that elemental cats can crossbreed, and who knows what Tama might do to her when he grows bigger and is in heat. However, this doesn't scare Arya at all. Instead, it makes her happy. As they venture deeper, they encounter a minotaur. However, Arya has no trouble fighting it. She easily dodges all of its attacks, but her own strikes don't do much damage either. During the fight, the Minotaur swings its weapon around wildly, causing part of the roof above Vulcan to start collapsing. Just as the debris is about to hit her, Tama jumps in front of her and destroys it. This makes Vulcan blush. At the same time, Arya manages to stab the Minotaur in the chest, killing it. Later, at the Adventurers Guild, the receptionist is surprised and thrilled to learn that Arya has grown stronger and can now defeat a Minotaur on her own. After collecting their reward for the quest, Arya, Tama, and Vulcan celebrate together. During this, Vulcan tells Arya that she wants to form a party with her and Tama. Hearing this makes Arya very happy, and she eagerly agrees. Later that night, Tama was crushed by 4 melons. To calm himself down, he checked his stats and was surprised to see a notification informing him that he could now evolve into his second form. However, Tama chose not to evolve, since he doesn't want to look like a monster. Several days passed. One day, while walking around the city, Arya and Tama saw two men beating up a child on the street, and they immediately rushed to help. When the men noticed Tama, they immediately became terrified and fled, recalling that Tama was the one who had beaten Kazman half to death. Arya then asked the child where her parents were. From her reaction, Arya realized the child was an orphan and decided to take her to the church. Upon seeing Arya, all the children at the church lit up with joy and rushed to greet her, and then quickly becoming friends with the newcomer. It turned out that Arya had been helping bring orphaned children to the church and supporting it all along. Learning this, Tama admired her even more. Later that day, Arya was promoted to C-rank adventurer, which made her really happy. However, they soon noticed a crowd gathered around the quest board and asked the guild receptionist what was going on. He explained that the number of missing people had been increasing in the nearby town of Reynold, and demons were believed to be behind it. From children to adults, no one was safe. None of the missing had returned. Hearing this, Arya became angry and was determined to help. If you come this far, please consider liking and subscribing for more videos like this. Thank